Hey guys, how you doing? It's Mr. and Mrs. Honeydew Carpenter, and we are back again, and we are moving forward with this Aircrete shed. That test panel turned out awesome. We ended up just putting Visqueen over the top and the bottom of it while it cured out, and it stayed really moist through the curing process and got super hard. And I couldn't be more pleased with it. Um, I know this whole Hawaii trip for Miss Honeydew and our little vacation plans came at a little bit of an inopportune time. I had a ton of feedback, and people were like,
What happened to the
"What
shed?
happened to the shed?" Because we had prepared other videos to go during the time that we were on vacation. But a good thing about it is, um, I got to have some in-depth conversations with one of the most probably premier uh, cement and concrete design, mix design people in the state of Idaho. And
He got super excited. It was
oh, I
really
did. The technologies that have come out just in the last year or two with regards to changing the polarity of different elements within cement and getting them to bond together and bond stronger, and the different lightweight aggregates that they're coming out with. They have this kiln fired expanded shell aggregate, and I've got a source of those. They're just going to send me some to do some tests with it. But what's crazy about it is it totally changes the dynamic about how aircrete and concrete set up, because you have an aggregate that will absorb 50% sometimes of its own weight in water, and then you mix it in the mix, and as it's curing out, um, it doesn't flash off so fast. It actually releases that moisture slowly, and it affects the curing process and makes it super strong. So I'm really excited about doing a lot of different tests on it and whatnot.
Why is the lettering on your shirt backwards?
I don't know, why do lives do that?
Live shows seem to flip you backwards and everything backwards. So if we held up a book, it would read backwards also.
Right. So actually, Mrs. Honeydew is on my left, not on my right. This is my left hand. So weird. But anyways, we're moving forward. Today, we're taking all the equipment and whatnot over to the construction site. I had a lot of comments with people saying it looks like a lot of work for one panel. I think they just don't quite understand. I built some jigs and whatnot. I can literally make a form for a panel in about 12 minutes. So I'll make multiple forms, and then I will just take bulk batches of slurry and mix my slurry in a concrete mixer and just keep it moving. And then I'll dump a little bit of the slurry, as much as I need to fill a panel, into the apparatus, fold the foam in, fill the form, and just do that over and over. Once we tip these wall panels up, you have an insulated building. I know how long it takes to stick frame a wall and to tip it up and get it squared and straight, put wall paneling on it, siding, insulation, wall board on the inside, tape, texture, paint, and the whole process that goes along with that. And I think in the end, people are going to find this is a real economical way. Not only does it cost way less than going through all those steps, um, it's I think it's going to go pretty quick. My goal is to have this shed, the patio, the slab, everything completed in 3 weeks. And for a building, and I'm doing tons of landscaping too, guys, coming off of a deck, um, a, like a 300 or 400 square foot patio.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, and a cobblestone walkway up to the shed, the slab of the shed. So there's more that's going to go into this than just pouring panels and erecting a shed.
Right?
And people are saying, man, that's a lot of work. This is a shed. Well, actually, it's more like a shop. There's going to be AC, heat, power in this thing. It's going to be a place where someone could comfortably go in and work during the winter, summer, any time of the year. And to have a facility like that, I mean, a bully barn similar size would cost $6,000 or $7,000 to get set up, and then you would still have to insulate it, put power to it, put all those amenities in it, and wallboard the inside. So.
And another side note is if you have chickens, they decorate it for you. The Aircrete panel.
Yeah, they do. So, what do we got going on here?
Okay. Chuck said, roofing is concrete too. Are you planning on still doing the roof out of concrete?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna.
Aircrete.
Yeah, and guess what? I also, in a prior life, operated crane for a large commercial roofing business, and probably one of the most experienced and premier experts on the whole commercial roofing industry. I got to speak with him a little bit as well, and they have come out with some spray-on roof coatings that are insane. The warranty they give for them and the amount of time they last is just incredible. So yeah, I am gonna put the panel up the roof at a slope at a 412 pitch, and I am gonna spray a roof on it, and it's gonna be beautiful.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else? What do you do when you need to walk away from an Aircrete pour mid-pour? Have you?
You don't. If you have a form to fill, you need to fill it. But I mean, if you want to walk away mid-pour, I mean, you have time. It's not going to set up instantaneously. Like, let's say you didn't quite pour enough in to fill the form and you had to mix another batch and pour into it. You could do that. It doesn't flow together as good as you would think, because that starts to set up relatively quickly depending on the mix that you use. But typically when you're pouring concrete, it's go or no go. It doesn't matter if it's a bridge deck. It doesn't matter if it's a foundation. When you're in the middle of pouring that, you pour it until it's poured.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Robert says, I enjoy the creativity and ingenuity. Well, that's nice. Thank you. Say hi to Kylie for me.
Okay.
Kylie, your friend says hi. Clark. Hey, glad you're back. We are so glad to be back. A week is a long time. It's good to be home.
I couldn't wait to get up and get going and get working today.
Although I did have trouble leaving Hawaii, I kind of wanted to stay.
She got a tattoo. She loves to live on the wild side.
Like when you have to use the bathroom. So if you have to go bathroom during mid-pour, hold it.
Well, if it's a huge pour, there's probably going to be multiple people there, okay? If it's a small pour, like some blocks or something, just, before you get your slurry all mixed up, just take a potty break. It's not the chemical reaction that happens when you put water and Portland cement together that starts to bind it and set it up. It's not going to stop, and there's no chemical you can add to it. Well, I take that back. There are chemicals you can add to it to slow it down, but I mean, it wouldn't be a feasible thing for something like that. Now, I said Portland cement. There's type 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Portland cement. We'll have this conversation later. I learned so much about cement that I had forgotten this past week.
Or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sprayed the side of my barn like Jackson Pollock the other day. Alrighty, move on. We don't need... Okay, Kenny says, hey, what gauge was the studs? Whoa, Mr. Honeydew, you need to work on the tan now too.
Hey, where'd my necklace go?
Just kidding. You don't have your necklace on.
I know.
Very cool, interesting in seeing the whole process.
Yeah. Hey, I love that comment. And this is why. Every day before I start a certain segment of it, I'm just going to pull up my Google SketchUp and I'm going to put the camera on it. And I'll show you the exact thing I'm going to build. And I'll rotate it 360 and just kind of show it to you. And then eventually I'll do subsequent videos that'll show all the details blown up of how to connect these apparatus together, whether it be a corner detail or a roof to the top detail, or a header detail, or a window header and window sill detail. And I'll just have them all drawn, and I'll show you exactly, hey, this is what we're going to be working on today, and this is what we're going to do, and you'll be able to follow right along with it. And then, of course, at the end, I'm going to put it all together and all the details and plans for building this, and I'll put it on my Etsy store. But anybody who wanted to take the time to just go through the videos could probably copy it without any problem. What's it say, man?
Zero says, I like making you laugh, and look at the Pillsbury cheeks. Have you seen crushed glass with mixed in with concrete? Do you think it would work with Aircrete? I think they do that to the crushed glass to put like some shine or sparkle to it, right?
I've even seen people do Aircrete domes and buildings and put bottles in there to let the light show through with the different colored bottles, and it creates quite a dynamic on the inside. So I think you could. Now here's the deal. When it comes to bonding cement to glass and things like that, you got to understand glass is a silicate. Anytime you have an aggregate that you're going to put in cement, or anything that is high in silicates or opalites or anything like that, the polarity of them is the exact same as the polarity of Portland cement. So they want to repel each other. So you have to put a buffer in there to offset that and change the polarity of it. So when they nestle in together and that chemical reaction starts and the cement starts setting up, that it binds to it. Now, you're not going to get it to bind to glass without doing something like that. So you're going to have to scuff and roll these chips of glass or whatever in a roller and get some lime to coat them if you ever want it to add any strength to it. If you just want it to look pretty, no need. But if you want it to actually be a binder and add some strength, you're going to have to do something to change the polarity of those two. You never want to put a silicate in with a Portland cement. Now, I did it in a forge. That was for a specific project, because silicate sand and whatnot doesn't start to slump until like 3,400, 3,600 degrees. And I wanted it something that would stand up to it. But as you'll notice, I also added the lime and the other things, and I mixed them in and coated it prior to mixing in the water. So there's a reason to my madness and why I do everything I do. So if you're gonna do glass, it is a silicate. And
a reason for your madness.
Yeah.
How about using a locking cam system for panels?
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm just gonna do little sheet metal straps that have a indent or a roll in them, kind of like a little rib, that'll act as like a expansion joint, so that if it ever did get an earthquake or whatever, it'd move a little bit, but it wouldn't fall down. It'd stay together. But you guys, a locking cam system would be kind of a great idea. Once I get the panels all locked together with my little expansion joints, I am going to put a solid piece, just kind of a, I would say, a piece of L metal across that'll fasten the whole tops of them together. So, and there will be one of those at the bottom as well that's going to be anchored into the cement and the concrete. So all these details will be coming out and be blown up and drawn up, so that when I go to put the L channel at the bottom before I start tipping the panels. I'll say, this is what we're working on today, and this is how I'm doing it.
And today we're actually headed out here soon to get the sand.
Yeah, we're gonna get some
level.
Yeah, we're gonna get some road mix, and we're gonna put down about what 3-4 inches of road mix and start pouring that slab. I think I'll do a quick video, you know, how to pour a patio or a shed slab for beginners or something like that, so that they all know that they can actually just go rent a little concrete mixer and pour one of these things and what the steps are. Oh, I can't read that. Would you read it for me, sweetie?
How is the rocket stove working that you did?
The rocket stove is working awesome. That was one of the most controversial projects I ever did, because I got a lot of feedback on it. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about rocket mass stoves and what constitutes a rocket mass stove. And this one had to be portable, and it was just like nothing anyone else had ever seen. People thought that my Portland cement mix was gonna just crumble like dust, but I treated it in a way with sodium silicate and whatnot that made it hold up great. And I would look in the vortex and I would just see that whole throat where the exhaust goes just glowing red, and I knew it would work. So if you ever had a doubt about that, go look up my test fire video on my forge. And I did a forge, and I got it hot enough in there, you know, 2700 degrees. It was slumping soft still and starting to melt itself.
And right now it's kind of hot during the day, so I don't think Julie's using the stove, except for maybe I think she lights it at night to maybe cook on and heat it up just a little bit, because it can get a little chilly.
Actually, at night it's still getting chilly, chillier than you'd want. And she is running it at night, but it heats up the mass, and the mass keeps it just perfect, you know. So, but she doesn't have to run it very long at all.
That sounds awesome. Thank you. Looks like a 20 gauge metal stud.
It is. I'm sorry I didn't answer that question.
We'll get some.
Yeah, it is. It's a 20 gauge. It might be. Yeah, it's a 20. It might be a 24 gauge. Yeah, I think it's like a 24 gauge metal stud. But it's not the one with the little cutouts on the side. It's solid, you know.
Have you heard of magnesium cement?
It does the same thing. They just...
I forgot to put my alerts on silent.
Seriously? That huckleberry again? Okay. Anyway. Lightweight concrete. It's an Aircrete, but do it with a chemical reaction. And actually, after they pour it in, it'll swell up and fill the forms. But the magnesium just creates a chemical reaction that adds a air bubble or pocket in there, and it's...
They're wondering if that is one of the conversations you had with the professional.
Well, magnesium's been around a long time. We did have a conversation about Dow Chemical came out with a new thing in just the past year that kind of aligns on a molecularly structure the polarity of all the molecules of the cement. See, that's the thing about Portland cement. It's not because it was in Portland, Maine or Portland, Oregon, and that's where it was made. It actually, the first Portland cement came out of Portland, England. And I don't know if you have seen some of the concrete structures and stuff over there in England or whatnot, but they've been around centuries. And basically, Portland just means it's a standard. So if to meet a Portland cement, it has to meet a certain standard of the first concretes that were built over in England. Now, that being said, there's type 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is just says how coarse it's been ground to. All they do to make Portland cement is they take lime and they run it through a kiln system and a roller as it's going through, and break it up into little pieces and get it hot. And you end up with these little balls called clinker. And they take and they grind this clinker into a dust. and type 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Just type 5 is the finest dust you can get. I don't even think you can buy it in the U.S. anymore. They've come up with so many different ways to make concrete strong, using different chemicals and whatnot, that they don't even need it. So anyway, I guess where I'm going with this is, what was the question I was answering, Dave?
I don't know. I'm trying to hold the swing so it doesn't hit the camera.
Okay.
Let's
But
look.
it made sense in my head.
Oh,
when
the magnesium cement?
Oh, the magnesium. Was that one of the conversations? No. So now
Can
you
hop off,
have
please?
these different types of Portland
We're getting
cement,
jumping.
and you have like Dow Chemical Company and whatnot coming out with earth-friendly ways that are non-toxic and whatnot that you can add, and additives that you can add in there that just make the polarity of these molecules and these structures, just when they nestle in together and the Portland cement flashes off and does its chemical reaction, that they bind together harder than ever. And so I'm excited to try some of this new stuff. They got expanded shell, expanded clays, expanded lava rocks and whatnot that they're using
I've
as
seen
lightweight
some
aggregates.
clear concrete videos on YouTube using glass. I'll try and find a link.
Oh, okay.
Maker Show says hi. Hi. Michael
How come the
says, hey
cat's
guys,
trying to
hello from
crawl up my
Ontario.
back?
Because he wants me to hold him.
Oh.
Or she. When do you figure out you'll have plans for the shed system on Etsy?
I'm gonna, like I said, over the next 3 weeks, I'm gonna go through every step of it, and then I'm gonna draw them as I go, and then I'm gonna put them all together and post them as a package on
I would
Etsy.
say try and give us a good month, because
Yeah.
he likes to make sure everything goes together and works as good.
And it'll probably take me a week to explain step by step each step of the process. It's like writing a book whenever you do something like this. So
Had a good presentation today for Aircrete Company. Oh, well, I hope it went really good. How do you love concrete? Why do you love concrete so much?
can you tell? You know what? It's
He's the honeydew carpenter. He just loves to build everything.
I love to build
And
everything.
he actually can make some really pretty wood cutouts and some stuff. We have some earlier videos, like a table and a music box that he made a friend of mine. Some really beautiful stuff. So
There's an artsy side to the honeydew carpenter. I don't just build ugly concrete stuff. I build really pretty woodworking
but right now,
projects.
this is where his passion is leading him.
Yeah, that's it's an open frontier. I mean, there's the Dominga project that's happening overseas and whatnot, and they do it a certain way, and there's a spiritual element to it and the whole kumbaya thing. And I just want to do something that's a little more mainstream, that everybody can get their mind around, and that just somebody in Nebraska can look at my videos and go, whoa, I need a 12 by 15 shop that's already insulated, that I can put up myself, and I can build in little puzzle pieces at night after work or on the weekends, and they can go do it. Right? And I understand the whole, community thing and whatnot, but I want to do a dome system that a guy can look at it and go, oh, I can build that. I can build that form. I can build that piece of it. And I can do it over and over 300 times. I maybe build 5 or 10 a weekend or 20 or whatever they can do. And then at the end, I can go out and just put them all up, with the plans and
Have an
insulated structure, so.
I'll be taking some pics of the goat shelter using siding. Hopefully it works out well. Oh, Kenny is starting to make a goat shelter. Ooh.
That's awesome. We have
Send
that in the
pictures.
plans as well. Okay, so after I do this shed, we're gonna move out to Julie's property at the Dirt Patch Heaven, and we're gonna do some smaller projects that people can get into before they go into bigger ones. I'm gonna do a doghouse. I'm gonna do a chicken coop. And I'm going to do a goat shelter for her animals.
And the goat shelter will show that it can hold up, because, goats like to try and kick things and crawl on everything. and that one will show.
Oh my goodness. I lifted that panel up and looked at the back side and peeled the visqueen off a little bit where the...
You did that without me recording?
No, I recorded it.
Okay.
But anyways, you weren't recording, yeah. But I just wanted to look at it and just knock it with my hand and push on it, feel it, and it's so strong. It just puts a nice... I can't
Hey,
wait to put
Kenny,
them up.
if you don't mind sharing some pictures, I want to put a collage of a video together of people that have built things with their foam mate. So if you don't mind, send us some pictures. And anyone else out there that has used a foam mate and built things, send us some pictures. Please.
Oh, and if you're concerned that your foam mate isn't big enough, we need to get just the tank
I know.
to send out on our Etsy
Yes,
store.
we do.
I did a...
I don't think clinker means what you think it means. I just need to make sure we are still talking about cement. He's lost without you.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Okay, the Maker Show says it doesn't burn. Why did you choose a 12 by 15 rather than the standard 12 by 16, which is the largest size you can build without a permit?
Because that's what Grandpa wanted.
Yep, we are building it to specifications of the size that they asked for.
Yeah, pretty
Which
much.
is actually pretty cool because then if you have a little smaller space, you know that you can
And
build it how you need it.
yeah, the reason they do it 16 is because that's in 4-foot increments. And when you go to put your siding on and everything, it all fits with a limited amount of cuts and a limited amount of waste. I understand why they do it that way. You don't have to worry about that with Aircrete. You just make the panels and you put them up and they erect together like an erector set. So
Okay, little dog, heavy pieces of concrete above its head sounds like a flat chihuahua. I'm so confused. Okay, Eric says, future's so bright, you gotta wear shades.
yeah.
Okay, I'm so lost on some of this concrete.
$800 right now. Less than $1,000. And I think I can't imagine it's going to be much over like $1,100 or $1,200 after all is said and done.
Tyler says, hello from South Texas. We're running about 100 degrees today.
Oh,
That is hot.
that's hot. I'm glad we're at a nice 68
I don't know
with
what it
a
is
5
right
mile an hour breeze. I love it.
Right? Thumbs up. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Because we are going to go get the gravel mixture and
Yeah, the road base.
the road base, and we're off to do some work on the shed.
Yeah.
So you guys have a wonderful
And we're going to
day.
set up the time lapse camera. So there,